the other way. But like I said, I was on my way home and I was trying to do the whole talking and all the rest of it. But it's weird. I don't know how people do that. I'm not really, used to doing all that other stuff, right? I don't know. I'm hoping you guys can hear me. I feel like you can. I don't got my headphones plugged into this microphone. I might have to do that. Let me try that. Let me get my headphones out. I'm live right now. So, cause people, like I said in the last live I just did, which was just literally a few minutes ago, I cannot stand Pam Bondi. I can't stand most of these people in freaking office right now. Like, and not even just in office, but the people who are in these so-called, positions of power where it's like, yo, Pam, you're the someone who can get something done here. Like, I don't even understand why this is like complicated. I don't like Pam. You sit here and you trying to act like there was no impropriety. You're trying to act like you didn't do something wrong or that Kash Patel didn't do something wrong. And like the American people are just dumb. You guys, I've been trying to change how I did my content, how I did my channel. I just wanted to focus on, trying to help others get their money right. But, you subscribe to certain people, you subscribe to certain things constantly pop into your feed. And I've been managing to avoid it. I have people in the comments saying that, Rochelle, your channel could do incredibly well if you start talking about the politics of it. And I was specific. I wanted to stay away from the politics of it all because, well, there's enough people out here who are doing that. There's enough people who are talking about what's wrong with this administration, what's wrong with the government, all the rest of it. And I've done that. Don't get me wrong. I'll talk about the policies that I think are going to be beneficial to us financially, right? Like I said, when I was still talking about politics before we even came into this new year, I said, Trump is not the crusader. He is the status quo kind of guy. He's going to be the reason for why, if America finds itself at war, majority of the American people are going to find themselves being the daddy warbucks. Yes, you guys, I did get myself a glass of wine. Because my goodness, yo, Pam, what are you doing? I'm getting a notification. I will be watching Candace later. But my goodness, Pam, what are you doing? She's calling Tom Massey he's got Trump syndrome. Woman, that worked 5 years ago. Okay. That even worked last year. It does not work today. Okay. To say that Tom Massey has Trump derangement syndrome is absolutely bonkers. Like, doesn't work. Woman, talk about I know Victoria's Secret. He's on the list. He's in the Epstein files. He was deliberately redacted from the Epstein files, trying to protect him. He was considered to be, not even considered, he was a part of the files that says he's a co-conspirator, not just to, money laundering and to other bad things, but we're talking sex trafficking of minors. Like, okay, that's what we're talking about here. And you had him redacted. Oh, well, 40 minutes after, she says, we put his name back. We decided to make it unclassified, a part of the files. But that's only after you had been found guilty. This is after you had been found out trying to keep this guy out of it. Wes Lexer, the guy who's the, founder of Victoria's Secret. Yeah, he's in these files and you were caught. Yo, I'm gonna need you. Could you stop acting like we don't know what's going on here? And I tried not to get involved in the Epstein story. I didn't want to talk about Epstein. There's a lot of evil out in this world. And I wanted to be one of the few people who said, let's be hopeful. Jesus is great. Jesus is amazing. Let's focus on our relationship with Jesus. And, that's true. But let's call a spade. For a lot of us, this is nothing new to us. We knew these people were guilty. We knew Pizzagate was real. Like, I knew this a decade ago. Okay. The rest of America is catching up. But I knew a decade ago, Pizzagate was real. I remember the guy went into the dang pizza parlor shooting at the floor because he was trying to be Batman. He was going in there to save some kids, okay? Like, I remember that story breaking out. I remember having a conversation with my mother, telling her this is what was happening. We know Hillary Clinton was a part of this, but that conversation fell off, okay? It fell off the face of the earth because nobody was ready to talk about it. Okay, you won't talk about it. But I know there's some evil in the world. I know there's something up with pizza. We knew what pizza meant. We knew what hot dog meant, okay? We were suspicious of the Obamas and the Clintons at that time. We were suspicious, okay? This woman, Pam Bondi, gonna sit there and tell Tom Massey, Congressman Massey, that he's being a hypocrite, that he's got Trump derangement syndrome, which that don't work no more, okay? That's what she's saying. Let me just check the chat right now, okay? Hi, guys. Okay, oh, no, trying to save Love your content. Thank you for, VST. Thank you so much for getting into the chat. This person said, hi, Lewis. Thanks for being here. Oh, no, trying to save kids is a bit weird. Well, listen, he went into the pizza parlor and that's what happened. He shot at the floor because he thought this pizza parlor was responsible for, trafficking minors. That's why the guy went there. He was armed to the teeth and went into a pizza parlor and he shot at the floor. Like, I remember when that happened. It was a whole thing. Even Good Morning America talked about it. And I even low-key felt bad for the Clintons, thinking, well, listen, I'm not saying that they had anything to do with this or that, this guy went in there thinking he was going to be Batman, but, there was nothing. It was a regular pizza parlor. People were sitting there eating regular pizza. There's nothing wrong with this. Fast forward a decade later, we find out the guy who owns the pizza parlor is suspicious as all heck. We knew a decade ago that there was something up with Epstein. We knew a decade ago there was something up with the elite. Okay? Back in 2016, all this thing, this is why most of us, if not all of us, got on the Trump train. Yo, I was behind Trump. The second the man said, stop with bringing in illegals, when he wanted to do something about immigration, okay, I had 3 questions. Immigration, the economy, and education. And all Hillary Clinton had to say was, check my website. Go to my website, hillaryclinton.com. She had no answers. But he had all the answers without giving too much information. Build the wall. Don't get on food stamps. It's not fair for the American people to compete with, cheap labor. He ain't wrong. Like, we were on the Trump train, and then we started to see a lot of stuff come out since then. The Clinton emails with Weiner, that happened. We knew for a while now that there was some evil out here, okay? But this woman had the nerve to say, you guys, she had the nerve to say that why didn't Massey ask Eric Garland any of these questions in the last 4 years? I'm like, are you dumb, woman? Why didn't he ask Eric or why didn't he ask Garland these questions 4 years ago? Like, you think we're stupid. 4 years ago, we had nothing but speculations. The files were not out. You were not the head of the DOJ. Trump was not in office. These questions were never going to be asked under the Biden administration, okay? Didn't get asked in the first term of President Trump because he didn't know what the heck he was looking for back then. And in 2016, like, even his adversary, Hillary Clinton, was saying, I wouldn't have hired these people. Like, he walked in there completely blind as to who the deep state really is. And then in that time, we came to realize it was Epstein. You guys remember the flight logs? Tom Hanks was on that. Meryl Streep was on that. Oprah, Gail, like, all these people were on the flight logs. Like, y'all remember this? Like, I remember this. I remember when this happened. Like, this, I mean, I know it was a decade, but I feel like we all have good brains. We all not high with, like, yo, I feel like we have brains. We know what's going on here. She irritated me so much, you guys, I couldn't even. She really bothered me because I'm sitting here watching her say it's because he's got Trump derangement syndrome. Like, do you think we're stupid? I did not want to be one of the people talking about Epstein because there's enough people on YouTube and everywhere else. Well, I mean, not everywhere because we all know about TikTok. That ain't happening there. But like, yo, we all knew. We all know there's some evil in this world. And I did not want to be one of the people who are going to contribute to that conversation. I watch it. I consume this content because I want to know who's responsible for what. But I didn't want to participate in actually being in that conversation. I'm going to watch and I'll say what I'm going to say and feel how I'm going to feel in my own time in private. Then something like this happens. On my way home, this broad is in my feed and she's saying Trump derangement syndrome. He didn't ask the right questions of people 4 years ago when this information wasn't even out. We didn't have the Epstein files then. You are in charge. You're the someone. Like, yo, Trump, you're the someone. Kash Patel, you are the someone. Could we act like we know this? Could we act like we're the ones in power? Could we act like we're the ones responsible for getting justice for the American people? Not just the victims of trafficking, which I'm not saying that that's a minor thing, but could we act like we're the ones in power here? Because, yo, people, I'm low key not even trying to vote this election. Not federally. Left, right, y'all are all on some crap, okay? I'm over the nonsense. I'm really feeling like I voted because I knew I was going to see a better economy. I knew that America was going to be in a strong position. And I knew Trump was no crusader. We were going to get status quo. The economy would be better. We'd be able to afford things. The only thing that he's not going to get is we're not putting our heads back into the sand. Like, that's not happening. We're not sticking our head back in the sand and acting like these things aren't happening. We're not going to pretend like the world is nice. Okay? God said, the world ain't nice. He said it. Like, I don't even know why we're debating. Like, we're not, like, I don't even understand. The world is not a nice place. It's harsh. It's cruel. There's evil in the world. Like, I'm seeing what I'm seeing from these things, and we knew this. I didn't want to be one of the people that was contributing to that conversation, but when you see them being so blatant with their lies, popping up in your YouTube feed, it's like, yo, bruh, the files weren't even out. So how could he have questioned Garland 4 years ago when it wasn't even out? The cover up was still in. The fix was still in. How are we supposed to question? Everything we had was nothing but, conspiracy theories is what they said. We knew this stuff was real a decade ago. All we were waiting for was for the justice system to catch up and to do something about it. Hi, Jerry. Good to have you. Thanks for being here. Hi. But it's like, we were waiting for y'all to be here. We're waiting for the justice system to catch up. We knew this a decade ago. We knew there was something up with Epstein. We didn't know all of it. We knew enough to know it included minors. It included something satanic. It included something evil. We knew enough then, a decade ago. Like, this isn't not new for me. Like, thanks. You finally caught up. We're waiting for the rest of America to figure this out. Okay? We're coming to a head here. Oh, thank you for subscribing, Jerry. Thanks so much. Thank you for subscribing. But like, yo, like, I'm so over the nonsense. I'm so over the lies. I feel like I don't even want to vote federally anymore. And I'm starting to wonder, not even wonder, like, I'm not even wondering that this is not even something that we're wondering. We already know we can't trust the government. We knew that. I say it all the time. Don't trust the government. Didn't trust them now. I like the orange man. I trust that he's going to do what's best for the government. And as Americans, we might benefit from some decisions, but I knew that when I voted for him. Like, but there were just some things that you just did not expect. I didn't see coming. I did not see Kash Patel deliberately redacting the information of the Epstein files when the Epstein files was like the key to the universe. Like, you knew this. What are you doing? Pam, what are you doing? You botched the Epstein files. You kept saying that I've seen him. It turned into a whole thing. Then it was a debate about whether or not it should even be released. You shouldn't have had to pass a law as to releasing the files. Like, they had to pass the Epstein Transparency Act because people were not trying to release it. Happy early Valentine's Day to you too, Jerry. Thanks for being here. You guys get in the chat if you had anything to say new to this. Have you seen this? Like, did you guys see this clip of Pam Bondi and Tom Massey back and forth? Because first of all, I was laughing because Tom was not letting her like have it. I reclaiming my time, Mr. Chairman, reclaiming my time. And they were so eager. And it's not even like I just saw Pam. There was another one. It was a congressman on Democrat side. He gave his floor speech. I saw this morning on my way to work. And for 6 minutes, he's talking about why certain individuals were removed from the files. Like, yo, Secretary Lutnick is in these files. He was at, friendships or an acquaintance of Jeffrey Epstein after he had been convicted of pedophilia. Like, yo, I liked Secretary Lutnick. I actually liked the guy. And now I'm finding you are hanging out with pedos. Yeah, no. Why are we not getting rid of anybody? The Democrat today, his name escapes me because as somebody who was, Republican and hardcore Trumplican, I didn't take the time to learn certain, Democrats' names outside of the squad. But this guy, him and Mr. Massey worked together to get these names, and Secretary Lutnick, he's in the files. Lexner, he's in the files. And this is the guy who's the founder of Victoria's Secret. Like I said earlier, talk about, I know Victoria's Secret. Yeah. Is a dude and is friends with Epstein. Like, yo, the world is insane, yo, people, I tell you. And now there's this whole back and forth as to whether or not this man is even alive. Yo, the world's gone crazy. The world's gone crazy. And all we can do is just carve out a nice piece of sanity. Okay? Where every morning, I think you should pray. Like, yo, we're coming to a head. It's obvious, okay? Because let me tell you how awesome our founders were. Every single contingency that they placed in is just seeming to have been corrupted. And we think that all we have left are the states. But when I see what's happening across the United States, I'm looking at some of these commentators and content creators. It's like, well, what say you when you see Pam Bondi screw up so royally? What say you when you see how the influence of foreign nations are impacting our everyday lives in America? Like, what say you about these things? You can see the treachery. You can see them just, turning things around in the wrong way and it not benefiting us. I knew with Trump in office, it might be war, but at least most Americans would have the opportunity to become daddy warbucks. Now, good thing, bad thing, that would be the debate on ethics. Right. But the one thing that we did not have to debate on was whether or not the Epstein files were going to be released. We didn't have to debate about that. But now we are. I'm losing my mind. You guys, I didn't want to talk about these things. I'm like, I really, it was not something that I thought I was going to talk about. Like you guys saw my first live. I was literally on my way home because I just finished watching that clip with Pam Bondi and it irked me. And she's calling people hypocrites and you're Trump deranged. No, actually, we were Trump supporters. We were on the Trump train. That it came at its stop and we're off the train now. Time for a transfer. Looking like something's up. Either Kash Patel made the decision to redact the information before it was sent to the DOJ, because by her attorney general's admission, this is how we got it. And we uploaded it to the internet for people to see the way that we received it. So either Kash Patel broke the law because the Epstein Transparency Act says you have to release everything with the exception of the victims' names, which they didn't do because they released the victims. They released the victims' names, which is the one thing you were not supposed to do, but you did it. Her attorney general told the Congress people, particularly Congress Massey and the Democrat whose name I do not know, that they uploaded the information as soon as the FBI gave it to them. The FBI gave them the information. That's how they uploaded it, which means the FBI made the decision to redact the information. Or Kash Patel made this decision by himself, or he was given a direct order from the White House. I knew Trump in office would mean we were probably going to find ourselves in conflict with other countries. People asked me, get another notification. Anyhow, people asked me, if Kamala wins, what do you think? Oh, it's war. And if Trump wins, what do you think? Oh, it's war. Well, if it's war either way, then why does it matter? Well, because if Kamala wins and it's war, we lose. But as the American people, not the government, but the American people. If Trump's in office, well, then it's war, but we war with all the right people, right? And the American people become daddy warbuckses. We actually would make money off of these conflicts. And we've seen that with the tariffs. There's going to be benefits to that. More businesses are coming in. Therefore, more jobs are going to be made available. That's money. Yeah, I said it. Status quo, affordability, strong economy, and not taking no sugar honey iced tea from anybody across the globe. That's status quo America. That's what Trump's trying to get us back to, where we stick our heads back in the sand, which is the one thing that was never going to happen. But it was not a debate about the Epstein files. Either Trump gave the order to Kash Patel to not release the information as they were ordered to by the law, the Epstein Transparency Act, or Kash Patel made that decision himself. Or they just don't realize that they still got some deep state actors working in the FBI to protect these individuals, which all the more reason why we want to get rid of the FBI. All you're doing is proving to us why you should be gone. When you have Americans, I'm not talking Republican, Democrat, when you just have Americans saying this is a problem, this is a threat, this is something that has to be addressed. Pam, you suck. She sucks. Pam Bondi, you are exactly as my sister says. You are the legally blonde of the Justice Department. You should not be there. She's terrible. She is horrible. Judge Janine, I feel like she should be in that position, but low key, I feel like this is why Trump didn't put her in that position, because she can get convictions of American murderers and cartel people who are up in the United States, and we're going to love it, and she's going to get those convictions. If you were to put her where Pam Bondi is, we'd probably be doing the same thing to Judge Jeanine what we do in the Pam Bondi, because the whole point is for you to be in this position and not actually get anything done. The woman wants to censor Americans. I don't care if you're on the left, but she wants to censor Americans because she don't like hate speech. She wants to censor us. The Epstein release. Now, either you coordinated with Kash Patel, or Kash Patel did it by himself, or Kash Patel followed orders from the White House. It's also possible that you still got deep state actors in there. So then what the hell you've been doing? You've been focusing on Argentina, Greenland, Canada, dealing with the rest of the world, wanting to take over the rest of the country. The rest of the country. I'm talking too fast. Wanting to take over the rest of the Western Hemisphere. Okay? That you're not even thinking about what the heck is actually happening here. Like, we were never supposed to debate about the Epstein files. That was never supposed to be the case. The Epstein files was the key to the universe. It would just destroy the government as it stands, where it would force some, special elections where we would have to put people in there. There is no time to wait a year, 2 years for all these elections, for people to play politics, because mass arrests just took place. That's what we were hoping. Like, Trump was supposed to be the wrecking ball. That's what I wanted. His first term and this term. Make us strong, be the wrecking ball, force some special elections here so we can get rid of the people who are associated with this. Because low-key, we fighting over the stupid stuff. It is irrelevant. I'm all for Doge cuts, okay? I'm all for it. But low-key, if you just stop giving money to the illegals and you only gave it to Black Americans and Americans who actually needed it, then maybe we can talk about bringing down the numbers without doing too much, okay? But you're not doing enough. You're not doing enough. Oh, he's losing the narrative on deportations. No, that's not what's costing him his numbers. What's costing the Republicans their numbers is the damn back and forth on Epstein. This was never supposed to be a debate with him, with this administration. This was the key to the universe. That's the Epstein files. Why have you redacted the people responsible, but let all of the victims' names be released? What? How are you helping? But, oh no, we got Trump derangement syndrome. That's what Pam Bondi says. We have Trump derangement syndrome because we're trying to understand why you let the victims' names get put out there. But people like Secretary Lutnick, who's a part of this administration, I want y'all to be clear. I want to be clear here, okay? King Charles wants to have his brother, Andrew, investigated and possibly prosecuted. The Princess of Norway, her people are seriously rethinking her becoming the queen, okay? Because she's a part of the Epstein files. So we've got kings ready to prosecute their brothers and peoples ready to war against their future queen over this. But we can't get rid of Secretary Lutnick over this. We can't prosecute the founder of Victoria's Secret. Like, yo, I have yet to, what happened to lock her up? Where is Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton on this? Where are all the people on the flight logs? Okay. We're talking about a restoration of our country that cannot happen unless you go after the bad guy. You're talking about, Lindsey Graham, we're killing all the right people, but you're not arresting the right people here at home. Don't tell me I got Trump derangement syndrome, Pam Bondi. You suck. So that's really all I wanted to say here. I've been up here longer than I thought I was going to be. But low-key, I saw that video and it irritated the heck out of me. During my lunch break, there were more videos popping in about the evil of Epstein, and it just, I couldn't be silent about it anymore. It was irritating. And because, of course, this is my YouTube, I'm just going to promote my stuff anyway. Because listen, if you guys are interested in getting your zero-based budgets, go ahead, click the link. I'm going to assume it's in the previous video that I posted yesterday. I will check to see if it's in my bio, but I will add that if it's not there. But low-key, you guys, the world is evil. We knew it was evil. The elite, they're highly suspicious. We knew this, but we knew this a decade ago. We know the Epstein files were pretty much the key to the universe, and they deliberately withheld information, redacted certain information, and released the names of the victims, trying to create problems. And no, we don't have Trump derangement syndrome. We're not crazy, okay? We knew a decade ago people were on some nonsense. We knew a decade ago that there was evil in this country and that the evil sits with the elites. We knew this a decade ago, okay? That's just what it was. I wasn't expecting to have a debate with the president over this. It shouldn't have been a problem. Y'all are still talking about Epstein? No, man, what is happening, Orange Man? What is happening? You knew, we all knew this was something that had to be talked about, something that had to be dealt with, and you're just not trying to do it. And Pam Bondi, yo, you suck. Low key, you're getting on my nerves. No, I don't have Trump derangement syndrome. I think your blonde, dumbass, excuse my French, needs to not be there anymore. Okay? She just needs to be gone. Needs to be gone. I feel like she just needs to be fired, but he won't fire her. Or Kash Patel needs to be fired, but he won't fire him either. And Dan Bongino feeling like, well, no one, you're only talking. You're not doing anything. Well, dude, of course we're talking because we're not the ones that are in power. You were in power and you did nothing. That's the problem. You had all the ability to kick the people off the island, pun intended, and y'all not doing a damn thing about it. We're not crazy. We knew a decade ago people were evil. We were looking for you to prosecute them. And you know what? Here's how I feel. I'm looking like this feeling like the fall of the House of Usher. And I'm going to end it with this. Feels like the fall of the House of Usher. And it doesn't seem like accountability and consequences are going to come at all from the justice system here in the United States, if ever, and anywhere. And so, frankly, they should have let us prosecute them, because at least with the prosecution, they might have been able to seek forgiveness from the big guy up there, from the big guy upstairs, and they might have, not suffered the consequences of what they are going to suffer because they refuse to repent and accept responsibility and be held accountable for their sadistic, satanic crimes. The Lord forgives. And frankly, if they just allowed us to get some justice for these minors, justice for all the terrible things that they're doing to the American people and people around the globe, then you have the opportunity to seek forgiveness from the big guy upstairs. And I feel like, low key, they're going to suffer 10 times fold. They're going to suffer the consequences. Every horrible thing that they've ever done, they will suffer, because when the big guy comes and he comes to war with these people, they will lose. They will lose tremendously. And, just knowing the truth may just have to be enough for us, because it frustrates me when I hear people say something as idiotic as, why didn't you question Eric Garland 4 years ago? Like, bruh. Everything was speculation. We knew a decade ago, but everything was speculation then because the files weren't out. Pam, why didn't you ask 4 years ago? Are you trying to be stupid? I feel like low-key, yeah, no, she's trying to be stupid and she thinks she's going to pull one over our eyes. We're not crazy. We're not stupid. We know they're up to something. We know they're hiding something. At bare minimum, you guys, we just going to have to pray hard. There's evil out there. I know there's evil out there. The world ain't nice. We knew the world wasn't nice. So we just have to learn to live with it because, it's something. All right, you guys. I love you guys. God bless. And I will see you in a fully produced, not handheld, recorded. But let me know how you feel about my handhelding thing, because I'm